welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes video. I'm Zuko.
And I'm Exum.
And this is The High Ground. Alright guys, so today's video is going to be a continuation of our last Zeta Unique video. We came out with a video, you guys have hopefully already seen it. It was part 1. We went through 16 characters that Exum and I went through the list in SWGOH.gg and checked out their unique Zeta abilities. And we put, we compiled a list of ones that we think is going to be useful for this new Sith Raid. The Sith Raid has been pretty brutal, so we want to see if we can help you guys out and try to, help you guys know who to invest those precious Zetas into to help you do better in this raid. So first today is going to be Crew. That is Kylo Ren Unmasked. And now his Zeta ability is called Scarred. So what Scarred does is Kylo gains taunt for 1 turn at the start of each encounter and has double counter chance while taunting. We do think that this Zeta ability has some uses in this raid. I think it's always good when you have an auto taunter to try to reflect some of the attacks from an enemy to make sure that the rest of your team is there, and especially if you have somebody like First Order TIE Pilot on your team who's a little bit flimsy, it's good to have Kylo Ren there, that they'll be attacking him. I definitely don't think that this is probably one of the best Zetas on this list. I think it's actually more near the bottom, but I do believe it is useful. It's always good to have counter against Scion and against Treo so that you're always hitting back when they're attacking
damage,
you. Because, damage, which we got to keep doing. So I do believe that this has a place. It is not absolutely necessary, but if you have it already, definitely it's a good Zeta.
It's good for the First Order team. If you're focusing on the First Order team, I think one of the strongest recommendations we can give is when we're building these teams for the Sith Raid, you want to complete a team so that you can do the max amount of damage for them. So if this is like a piece for that First Order team that you're building, then you should probably do it. Yeah. Next we have is Logray. Logray is an Ewok, so we don't want to talk about it. While Logray is active, whenever an Ewok ally scores a critical hit, that ally gains health up for 2 turns, and then all Ewok allies with health up recover 10% health. So
it's such a good Zeta.
We've talked about how much health and protection are important for this raid, and we talked about how the Ewoks have a place in the last video, 2 videos ago. The top Zeta leaders, we talked about Sherpa. And so if you're running a Sherpa team, you're probably going to have Logray. And if you have Logray, he should have his unique Zeta, because making sure that those Ewoks stay alive so you get little murder bears so you can do as much damage as possible, that's incredibly important. So it definitely has its place. There's some uniques that are more important, and you got to keep this in perspective. Some uniques can be used on multiple teams, but some uniques like this one and the Crew are only used for specific teams.
Yes.
So that's when you're like ranking, okay, which unique is better. Kind of try to find the one that you can squeeze on multiple teams.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, this is a fantastic Zeta that they put on Logray. So if you love the murder bears, then go ahead, put that Zeta on him and go have fun. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Go have fun.
Yeah. Go score 2 million damage.
That is fun.
Yeah. So the next unique Zeta we have is Mother Talzin's Plague Bearer. When any unit falls below half health, Talzin gains 35% turn meter. This is just a great unique in general. I think if you have Talzin, you should have this unique. It's great for arena and all that stuff. But when it comes to the Sith Raid, it's important to keep in mind the words any unit. So if your units, their units, if anyone's falling below the 50% health, then you gain 35% turn meter. And keep in mind you're using Night Sisters, and if Night Sisters are dying and coming back to life, all that stuff, the turn meter gain, it's going to be very helpful for Mother Talzin.
And that's fantastic. Keep hitting the raid bosses, do as much damage as you possibly can in the best amount of time, and the faster you're going, the better it is. You're keeping them from going, which is keeping their rage meter low, making sure that you can do as much damage as possible before that rage meter hits. Yeah, definitely a great Zeta. So next we've got Old Ben. So what we're going to be doing with Old Ben is this is his If You Strike Me Down Zeta. So this is when he gains plus 2% turn meter gain. He has plus 20% health, plus 20% protection recovery, and for the first time the Old Ben is defeated, all allies gain 25% turn meter. This is a great Zeta. Now, what makes it a little bit of a tricky one is the fact that you don't really want to be running Old Ben, I think, in this raid that much, just because of the fact that he hits like a what noodle. So he kind of is a detriment to the fact that you want to be getting as much damage as possible. He is a fantastic taunt. This kind of works as like as like an illuminated destiny. So it does have its purpose, and it does that turn meter gain, the health and protection recovery is fantastic. And if you can taunt and make sure that they're only hitting him first, it can be a really great Zeta.
I don't know, man. I've been running an old Ben Lee team that I'm kind of working on, trying to work out the kinks with a couple of my guild mates. So I think he's gonna have a place in this raid, to tell you the truth. But it's a great Zeta, especially if you need to throw in a tank to try and protect your high damage dealers while you're trying to get in as much damage as possible. He's great, and if he happens to die, it helps your team.
Understood.
So the next Zeta we have is Paplu, another Ewok. So Paplus don't hold back. Whenever Paplu gains a status effect, he recovers 5% protection.
What have we been stressing?
5% protection. That's huge.
Protection, health, anything in this raid, especially protection in 2 through 4 in those phases is fantastic.
And this is whenever he gains a status effect, so it can be a debuff or a buff. And with the Ewoks, they're constantly gaining buffs. With Scion and with Traya, you're getting debuffs. So this is just a fantastic Zeta for that Ewok.
And this paired with Logray and with Chirpa, fantastic. There's a reason this team does so well. There's a reason they get over 2 million damage, and that is because they all have tremendous synergy together. And in this raid, all that health and all that regain and protection, all that stuff, it's huge, and it's fantastic, and that's why they do so well, and it's understood.
So the next one we have is Princess Leia, against all odds.
So in her unique, she has plus 45% chance to heal, and whenever Leia attacks, she records 5% protection. God bless.
It's just
the
getting
same thing
repetitive
over and
at this
over and
point.
over. It kind of becomes one thing that we were talking about is, would Princess Zodi work? That is, of course, running her with
Cody.
And what we've seen is that there's not really a lot of videos that have been able to show that team works. But what's important to take out of it is that Princess Leia, that Zeta, is tremendous. She hits incredibly hard. She has that double tap, even triple attack chance, plus the fact that she's getting stealth on her own. She's an awesome character, and definitely, in my opinion, has a place in this raid with that Zeta ability.
Yeah,
you gotta gain protection.
As we all know, she's very flimsy.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make it to that enrage meter, and if you're going against Scion with the Cycle Suffering, if you're going against Traya with all her lightsabers and her isolation and all that stuff, you want her to, have that extra protection, that extra health. Especially when she falls out of stealth, because she's not going to be in stealth the whole time. So you just want to make sure that she can stand those hits so that she's there to the end doing as much damage as possible.
She'd actually be a pretty great character to put that one-on-one with.
That standalone, yeah.
The standalone with Traya, as long as she's not, isolated, because if you're doing a standalone against her and she hits that triple attack, each one of them's hitting for a really good amount of damage. I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah. The next one we have is R2's combat analysis. So while R2 is active, whenever light side ally scores a critical hit, dispel all debuffs on them. Again, if you're running this with the Trinity, which is this is right now R2's spot is with RJT and BB-8. So you're gonna be getting these debuffs, whether it's in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, wherever you decide to use them. So, and RJT's leadership is very crit chance heavy.
Yes.
So when she crits, or when R2 or any other resistance allies crit, they're going to have a chance to cleanse themselves. And if you're cleansing yourself when you're hitting Nihilus, at least you're not getting those defense down buffs and helping him speed up his Annihilate when he uses Drain Force.
Exactly. So
Scion as well, you want to cleanse. You can't cleanse yourself with the Cycle of Suffering.
It's locked.
But with Traya, you want to cleanse yourself, you get Daze, because then you can't call BB-8 to assist and all that stuff.
So yeah, great Zeta.
Really good.
Next is R2-D2's Number Crunch. This is perhaps his best Zeta. At the start of the battle, when R2-D2 is revived, other droid, Galactic Republic, Rebel, and Resistance allies gain 10% of R2-D2's max protection, offense, max health, and potency until R2-D2 is defeated. This is fantastic. You're going to be getting a lot of protection, you're going to be getting a lot of health, a lot of offense, and potency, which against the raid bosses might not be that great, but everything else in that Zeta is absolutely phenomenal. It is a great Zeta. It's practically a leadership Zeta in a unique. So definitely has its place in this raid in any phase. Yeah,
a lot of people should have it. Actually, the potency is important because that's the one for resistance, and with resistance,
exposes.
You want to do the exposes.
100%. Even though they nerfed RJT's exposed. Terrible.
But yeah, the next one we have is Rey Jedi Training. So RJT, her Virtuous Protector.
Yes. So when Rey suffers a debuff, she has a 40% chance to dispel all debuffs on herself. Now, if you're running this, you're running her, you're most likely running her in that trinity with R2-D2. If that's the case, this Zeta isn't that necessary. Because if you have the one on combat analysis already, then this is going to be happening through R2-D2.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to worry about having this Zeta. I personally do not have it on my RJT, neither does he. We don't believe it's that necessary because we have R2-D2. So I will say that
in a sense it's kind of overkill, but in a sense it's not. Keep in mind that R2-D2's combat analysis, you need to crit.
I understand.
This one, it gives her a 40% chance
to just dispel it.
Yeah. So it's overkill in a sense. It might be made void by R2's number crunch.
Yeah.
But if you want to put it on, it is a good one and it can definitely help you for the same reasons that we talked about with combat analysis.
Yes, exactly. So this next one, this is personally my favorite Zeta that I have on Raid Jedi training. It's her Insight Zeta. So at the end of the turn, if Rey already had critical damage up, she gains offense up until she is damaged. At the start of each encounter, Rey gains Foresight until she evades. When Rey evades, she recovers 5% health and 5% protection. This Zeta is incredible. Probably I would rank this in like the top, definitely in the top 10 Zetas in the game. Yeah. Top 10, top 5 Zetas for sure. Game, yeah. Zetas in the game. I mean, this is fantastic. This is whenever I run my RJT, what I do in the Nihilus phase, in phase 1, is I put smokescreen on her. Because Nihilus, I know, is just going to swing and miss. She dodges so much thanks to this insight that she gets, the foresight that's constantly giving it to her. Plus, along with that, you're also getting 5% health and 5% protection. And she's a tank. So she's already, beefy enough for you to be throwing this on her. And more health and more protection. And this raid is phenomenal. There's a reason she is the best, player for this raid. And to be totally honest with you, in my opinion, what sets her apart from the rest is that Zeta.
Yeah, that Zeta is the one that helps her win all the one-on-one battles and all the other videos.
Exactly. So. Sorry, CLS.
So the next Zeta we have is Zeta Sauvage.
Yes.
So gain heal over time when damaged. Buff duration +1, plus 50% turn meter gain chance. Dispel all debuffs from Sauvage whenever he is critically hit. Okay, if you've never seen a Sauvage battle in Arena, when he's hit, he has offense up, defense up, and he gains health up.
Yes.
So what kind of mixture of those buffs. The most important one is the health up. So when you're hitting him, he's gaining this and it's stacking. And so he's pretty much, when it comes to his turn, he revives himself, like completely heals himself. Yeah. So
super annoying.
When you look at this Zeta, in essence it works because, like we've been harping on, health is so important.
Yeah.
And that. And he's going to be a character who, in a Sith team, is taking all the debuffs off of the other team. So it's very important that he can kind of protect himself in this way. Whenever he's critically hit, he gets dispelled all these debuffs that he's been cleansing from his allies. So Sauvage is kind of one of those characters that you're gonna want him to protect your Sith if you're running a Sith team, and you're gonna want him because he's gonna last to the end for sure.
Yeah, this
he's gonna make it to
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he's just a brute. His only thing is he's only got one special, and he doesn't hit the hardest.
Yeah.
But I think he has more of a value in kind of protecting your other Sith.
Exactly.
So
yeah, he has a place in this raid. Probably not as good as he did in HAAT, but he definitely has a place.
I think his place is phase 3.
That's
it.
I would probably say
this. Phase 3 is.
I think that's a good one. Okay, so next is Stormtrooper Han. Man, this Zeta, when this Sith Raid first came out, this Zeta was the god of all Zetas to have for the raid. Until we realized it was a broken mechanic. They have thus fixed it, but let's read the Zeta anyway. Whenever Han takes damage, he recovers 5% protection. Still phenomenal. So anytime that he is being hit, he is regaining protection. That is great. Set up his taunt. Let him get hit over and over. Let him keep regaining protection little by little.
He's feeding his turn meter to your team.
Exactly.
He's a great character for this raid, even if he doesn't have that broken mechanic from before.
Exactly.
But again, protection gain, that's huge. You want him to be there. Maybe you pair him up with a different tank, and now you have your heavy hitters, like, they're not going to be touched the rest of the battle.
Pair him up with R2, let him put smokescreen on Stormtrooper Han. He can only hit Stormtrooper Han even when he's not taunting, giving turn meter to everybody else. It can be a pretty deadly combination and different things. Try it out on different teams and just see how it goes.
There's a place for him here somewhere, and I think when you're going to use him, you're going to want him with the Zeta. So that's what it comes down to.
100%.
Next, we have Veteran Han. Did a veteran just make the list of
No,
possible
he
unique
shouldn't,
Zetas?
man. He
Did
shouldn't.
he? Did he? Alright, so let's read it. Whenever Han gains any status effect, he gains 50 armor penetration, stacking until the end of his next turn. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Because he's going to be gaining status effects.
The amount of armor that these bosses have, these raid bosses have, is insane. You know, so I agree the ability to gain this 50% armor penetration stacking can be very useful. I think he can do a good amount of damage. I don't think he's going to be, you know, one of your top damage dealers. But he can help the rest of your team do more damage through that armor penetration.
With a unique Zeta like that, there has to be a place for him somewhere in this thing. And at the moment, the veterans are useless. Other than the fact that you farm them for RJT. We have them. I would love to find a place for them. And I think this Sith Raid is the kind of thing that CG kind of created because they want us to find these unique characters and teams that we don't really look at.
I think they just want us to waste our Zetas.
So there's going to be... there might be a team for the veteran Han. I hope so.
I agree, and I think he does have a team. I think he has a place in a team that's going to get you 200,000 damage, 300,000 damage. I don't believe that you're going to take out, you know, a top tier player, you know, Death Trooper, or, you know, Shrewd, or, you know, Fulcrum or something like that to put in, you know, Veteran Han just because of that armor penetration. I don't even think you would take out, you know, Sabine
from
one of those teams for that armor penetration. That she does the same thing. So I think he's one of those lower level team compositions that can still, because of this, boost up your damage maybe another 100,000.
Which, in the end, in Heroic, that might be extremely useful.
Exactly.
I just think there's plenty of characters that don't have a place in this raid yet. We know, like, the leaders, we know Imperial Troopers and some teams, RJT, Resistance, have places in this raid. But there's those other team combinations that still need to be created. And like GK doesn't have a place in this raid.
He doesn't, but he hasn't had a place in any raid.
He hasn't.
He hasn't.
But there's characters out there that don't have a place, and it's gotta be there somewhere. And I feel he's gonna find his way into a team. I'm saying it now. So there's Veteran Han. He gets a little love today. Next we have Vices Mar. While Vices Mar has no debuffs, she has a 60% chance to assist when another ally attacks the enemies once per turn. So if you've seen any video on Vices Mar in the raid doing any sort of damage, she has a Zeta.
Yes.
Because this is extremely important for the Sith Raid. If not, she kind of becomes a moot point. Like,
unless her ability to steal health is really good too, to get into the rest of your team.
But the 60% chance to assist, attacking so much, that's when she heals. So if she's not assisting, she's not healing as much.
Oh, that's true.
So this is an extremely important Zeta.
Extremely important, and if you've seen it, she kind of turns into like a machine gun. She's constantly hitting. So I think that is a phenomenal Zeta to have. She's a great character. If she wasn't pay to play, she would be a priority for me.
She'd be top 10, top 5 list.
Yeah, for sure, because she is just a phenomenal character. I really do enjoy her a lot. So I think she has a place. I like this Zeta a lot. You know, Return to the Light, and definitely useful.
All right, I think you should read the next one.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to.
Wicked. Furtive Tactics.
Furtive Tactics, maybe? Like fur, because he's a fuzzy bear.
Yeah, Furtive Tactics.
Maybe. Okay, whatever. So this Murder Bear, whenever Wicked scores a critical hit, Ollie... Oh my god. Why is it so good?
Yeah.
God, he's a bear.
You know, if they did more damage, they'd be filthy.
Bless, bro. All Ewok allies recover 4% health and 2% protection every time Wicked scores a critical hit. So if you're pairing this with Poppy, you're pairing this with Log Ring, you're Chirpa. Well, we gotta do the math on this. I think already in health, you're gaining like 20% health. You're gaining in protection like 10 or 15% protection. That's crazy. I mean, these guys can definitely last a long time. They can definitely last in the Enrage Meter. And in my opinion, the reason that they're scoring 2 million damage is because they can last so long. Yeah. Because they don't do a lot of damage. They don't hit very hard. So it's definitely not because
they survive.
Maybe somebody decides that, you know what, I'm going to go all in on an Ewok. You know, God bless you for doing that. But if you decide that you're going to go all in on the Ewoks, maybe they throw a bunch of critical damage mods on them, a bunch of like crit chance, and see, maybe they can increase the damage enough to get it up to 3 million, something like that, where it actually become really, really good to have, you know, the Murder Bears, but I will never do it. So, yeah, Yeah, I think
they have some really good uniques. I don't think I've ever looked at them, and they're pretty
I
impressive.
never really have, but yeah, they really do. Those three, especially those four. I mean, they definitely have a place. I think you pair that with Ewok Elder, maybe to have, or Tebow. Tebow's ability to stealth everybody. That's another one that's pretty dang good.
Honestly, I'm stuck on that Ahsoka Fulcrum team with them.
Oh, throw Ahsoka Fulcrum in there because of all the buffs that are flying around. I think, yeah. And plus, guess what? She throws up protection up for everybody too. When she hits somebody, she gives it to a random ally. So I mean,
protection game.
Exactly. Nick can last forever. She hits like a truck. I have her at gear 12. Love her to death. So yeah. So that's Wicket. Wicket has a pretty good Zeta, unique as well. Guys, this was the second part of our run through on the Zeta Uniques that we believe will be useful in this raid. We hope that this helps you guys out. We hope that you were able to gain something from this video. Guys, leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think of our video. Let us know if we missed out on any characters. There's plenty of characters that have uniques that
we didn't
really
go
work.
over.
This is only unique Zetas. We'll make another video on the specials. But for right now, these are the uniques. So if you guys have any other ideas, if you believe that we put somebody on there that shouldn't have been on there, let us know, guys. We love hearing it. You guys can help us out. We're definitely not masterminds in this raid. We're just trying to do everything we can to help you guys out.
Yeah, we're doing our part.
Exactly, to help you guys out and show what we've seen that has worked.
Yeah, one thing I want to say before we end it is we didn't say every unique in the game.
No.
We just went through the ones. I just want to emphasize this because I'm sure someone's going to ask, oh, what about Sion's unique?
Yeah.
Someone else's. These are just the uniques that we took a look at and we said there might be a place for them in this raid. And we just kind of wanted to give our opinions, kind of read them, be like, how quickly process, what could this do, theory craft a little bit, and kind of talk about it.
And what's really important too is that we also wanted to pick some characters like he referenced, Veteran Han.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have ever really talked about Veteran Han. Not really a lot of people have wanted them on his team. Exactly. I hate Ewoks, and looking at this video kind of opened my eyes a little bit. I'm still not gonna farm them, but it kind of opened my eyes a little bit to
how good they could be.
They're a good team. They have a lot of great synergy together. So we hope that the characters that we've chosen here can help you guys in that same way. Maybe you open your eyes a little bit. You guys didn't know that much about Visa Smart. You didn't know that much about Wicked and all that stuff. So these are great characters, and we really hope that you guys were able to get something out of it. Like Exum said, not every unique is described here, but the ones that we feel can help you guys out, that's what we chose to give you guys. So, guys, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Okay? This has been our top Zetas uniques to help you guys in this raid. Let us know what you think, again, in the comment section down below. I'm Zuko. That's Exum. Thanks for watching,
This is the High
guys.
Ground. We'll see you guys later.
Over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate my power!
Don't try it! High ground! You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them! High ground! I loved you! High ground! High ground. It's not the high ground way. I mean the Jedi way. You know what I'm saying. I'm saying I've beaten you and I'm on the high ground, so. High ground!